If you miss hearing what somebody said, you'd probably ask them something like, "Hey, can you repeat that?" Or, "I didn't understand what you said. Can you say it again?" And so sometimes, if we catch ourselves not paying attention to what we're reading, a really good thing to do is to be able to understand what was being said, is to go back and reread a little bit in order to jump back in and bring yourself up to speed at where you are in the story. So, the strategy we started working on yesterday and are going to continue to work on today with reading Fritz and the Mess Fairy is retell and jump back in. So, because remember, it's good to have a variety of strategies in order to kind of remind yourself in the moment that you need to be focused and what you're reading and really pay attention to what you're reading. Because remember, strong, focused readers are better readers. So, the strategy we're working on today is called retell and jump back in. And remember, sometimes our mind can wander. And if it wanders, we have to say, "Stop. No, I'm not going to think about that right now." So then we retell what we know about the story so far. We go back to the part that we remember, and we say back what we remember out loud. Sorry about that. And we go back to the part that seems fuzzy. So our reading focus for today is I can self-select, read independently, and comprehend literature at grade level. Because having these strong reading strategies and practicing them help us read better and read better at grade level. So today we are going to read Fritz, the second half of Fritz and the Mess Fairy. And I'll model this strategy for you right at the beginning. Because sometimes when we pick a book up after only reading part of it, this is a great strategy to use to go back and remember what we were reading and jump back into the story. So I remember Fritz is kind of a messy guy. Because he shoves all his things underneath his bed. And goes back and he's at dinner and he's supposed to clean up. Then he forgets because he has a science fair project due. So he's getting all his materials for a science fair project. I remember that because he makes a mess on his sister's desk. And so then his family comes in and tells him that they're pretty unhappy with him because he made an even bigger mess. And then he says, "I didn't do it," and he slams his door and throws all his trucks out the window in the flower garden. Now, I remember that we read this page yesterday, but what I'm going to do is, in order to help myself retell and jump back in, I'm going to go back to this part because it seems a little bit fuzzy, and I'm going to reread this page. So here I go. Fritz was too sleepy to clean up. Outside his window, the night air stirred softly through the willow branches. Moonlight slid between the shadows and an owl flew over. But as the hours passed and midnight went by, something strange began taking place in the beaker on the floor of Fritz's room. It was a once-in-a-lifetime chemical change. The molecules of the rose water began to crystallize in the egg white. Soon the process got out of control. This heated up the copper wire. As a result, the rocket booster burst into overtime action. The tailpipes emitted noxious gases. The smell woke Fritz. "What's that?" he asked. "It's me," sang the Mess Fairy. "What are you going to do?" asked Fritz. "You'll see," answered the Mess Fairy. The Mess Fairy rolled up her sleeve. Then she took up all the socks out of Fritz's drawer and hurled them around the room. In the bathroom, she squeezed the toothpaste out of the wrong end of the tube. In the kitchen, she drank lemonade out of 23 different glasses. And in the den, she shuffled 6 packs of cards together and mixed up the pieces from 10 different board games. I bet that probably happens at your house sometimes. Soon the living room was a snarl of interconnected extension cords. Fritz began to cry. "Do something," he said to himself. "What can I do against her? She's so overpowering," he answered himself. Suddenly, Fritz had an idea. While the Mess Fairy was busy with the lamps, Fritz quietly reassembled his experiment: feathers and rosewater glycerin, eggs and copper wire. But this time he put the rocket booster's motor into reverse. Once again the molecules crystallized and the wire overheated. But now the rocket's engine sucked the air in the room into a whirling funnel, creating a peculiar black hole. The Mess Fairy was swallowed right up, leaving only a lingering fragrance of pine needles. Fritz jumped into his mother and father's bed. "Did you have a bad dream, my little carrot cake?" whispered his mother. "We love you, son," murmured his father. Fritz was ashamed. He felt terrible about leaving the dirty kitchen for his hard-working mother to clean. He was mortified when he remembered his father's toolbox, and he could have kicked himself for spilling Tiffany's nail polish and lotions all over her rug. Fritz resolved to clean up the whole house. He coiled up all the extension cords and put them in the right drawer. He sorted the cards and game pieces, scrubbed up the toothpaste, put his toys on the shelves, put his trash in the basket, and hauled his laundry to the washer. He washed up the dessert plates and ice cream spoons and the dishes left from the night before and all 23 lemonade glasses. A shaft of morning light greeted the sparkling house. Fritz rested at last. He felt good and clean and neat. I love them so, he said. I'm going to make them their favorite breakfast in bed. And he did. Fritz made bran muffins with orange slices for his father, buttermilk pancakes for his mother, and special waffles for Tiffany. Fritz was so proud. It's the new Fritz, he said. There's a big mess all over the place. So today, as you're reading, I hope you get a chance to try your retell and jump back in strategy. Yesterday, I remember I said it's really important to try and do this out loud with somebody next to you, whether it's a family member, a pet, somebody from your pod, a friend, anyone. It's just really nice to get a chance to practice some of these strategies by saying these things out loud. Say, stop, I'm going to pay attention, and then retell what's happening in the story that you know so far. Have a great day, third graders.